Hi guys, Feeling Amir here. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make Napa Cabbage Kimchi. I've actually filmed this video before in the past, but I never uploaded it because I didn't like how it turned out, although the product was fantastic. Even though I am not Korean, obviously, I've been making kimchi for probably about 8 years now, and I think I have a pretty good recipe and I'm going to show it to you. Also, make sure you check out my video for radish kimchi, which I'm also going to be doing today since I bought so much radish. So let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to need to make Napa Cabbage Kimchi obviously is Napa cabbage. The tips to picking out a good cabbage is that it's nice and firm and crisp, and the top is nicely wound together. Usually that means that no bugs have made home inside. Take your knife and about 3 or so inches from the bottom, cut down and then pull it apart. Look inside the cabbage, make sure that you don't see any visible bugs. That's usually a good sign. You're going to want to do this again, cutting through just above where the core is. If the core has a bunch of dirty, nasty bits on the bottom, go ahead and remove that. This has already been done for me. Essentially, you want to rip this up into 4 pretty equal pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a bowl and I'm going to rinse these out with a little bit of water. And this is cold water. Just look in between the layers and make sure that there's no buggies. Shake it fairly dry and set it to the side. Wash all of your cabbage with nice cold water, inspecting for bugs. If your cabbage is really dirty, you're going to want to do it twice. Make sure that you wash the outside also pretty good, which usually has a good bit of dirt. Now that we've rinsed out all of our cabbage with nice cold water, what we have to do is we have to salt it. This is going to draw out a little bit of the bitter flavor from the cabbage, but it's also going to make it nice and soft for when we go to eat it later. Here I just have some really coarse sea salt. You can use any type of coarse salt, kosher salt will work. Please do not use table salt. It will over salt it and you'll get soggy cabbage, and that's not tasty. So basically what you want to do is you want to put a little bit of salt in between each one of the layers. A little bit over the whole thing. And then just set it in a bowl that you can have it set to the side for a couple hours. Any loose pieces, you want to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top. And repeat this process with each cabbage. If you have any leftover salt, just take it and sprinkle it evenly over all of the cabbage. What's going to happen is basically a lot of the water is going to be drawn out. After about an hour, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come flip these over and make sure the liquid coats the cabbage, and I'll show you that in a minute. You're going to want to salt this for about 2, maybe 3 hours. We'll have to see. While our Napa cabbage is over there salting, I'm going to prepare the daikon radish. Traditionally, you would use Korean green radish, and I will put a picture of that up on the screen so that you can see. I chose to use daikon radish because it's more available in most grocery stores, and for me it was actually cheaper, and that was the main reason why I did it. So what I want to do is make kind of like matchstick pieces for this. I think that that would look nice. I also want them to be rather small. I'm going to cut it into circles so that I can make them into matchsticks. The length and the size is completely up to you. Fairly small is what you're looking for. I'm just going to set these to the side. I also like to put carrot in my kimchi. I think it's pretty, but it also tastes really good after it's been nicely seasoned. Peel them. And we want to cut them into kind of matchstick pieces, just like we did with the radish. This is a little more difficult, so do be careful. About that size. You can also just make little pieces. Put this in a bowl with the radish and set it to the side. Now we want to prepare the green onion or the scallions. You're going to want to take off any pieces that are wilted or browning or not just really good at all. You don't want to remove all of the green part, that's where the good flavor is. And I like a lot of green onion. You don't have to use as much as me, or you can use more. Rinse them well under cold water. I cut off the green parts and set those to the side. I'm going to finely chop up the white part. The green parts I like to leave a little larger because they're beautiful looking. So maybe 1/4 inch pieces. And again, set them in a bowl and put them to the side. It's been about an hour, and all I'm gonna do, gently flip the cabbage leaves over. Any big pieces, you kind of want to make sure they're like down into the water. And as you can see, wilting quite nicely. One more hour. And after 2 hours of nice salting, here's what you're left with. Slightly wilted, softened cabbage. Lots of juice in the bottom. What you're going to want to do now is rinse these under cold water 2 to 3 times until you're sure that you've gotten all the salt off. Afterwards, put them in a strainer so that they're facing down like this and let them strain. You can gently squeeze juice out, but be careful not to bruise the cabbage leaves. Even though they're wilted, you don't want them to get squishy and soggy. I'm gonna let these drain like this while I prepare the porridge and the other mixture. Okay guys, time to make the porridge for your kimchi. I have my water here in a pot, and I'm going to turn the stove on medium-high and bring it to a boil. But before it comes into a boil, I want to stir in my sweet rice flour. So put in your flour and stir thoroughly. You don't want any lumps. Make sure you keep this moving, because as soon as it starts to thicken up, it's going to turn into really thick like pudding, and you don't want it to burn. As soon as you notice thickening up, turn it to medium-low. See? It instantly gets thick. Wasn't joking, guys. You're gonna want to cook this for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, just long enough to get the raw rice flour taste out. After about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, I'm gonna kill the heat. I'm gonna add in my optional sugar. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'm a big baby when it comes to spice, and I think the sugar helps balance it out so it's not too much. I'm gonna add my soy sauce. This is a gluten-free vegan soy sauce. This is tamari. It's also low sodium. You can use fish sauce if you want it to taste more traditional, regular soy sauce. It does not matter. And stir that in well. And like I said, I'm a baby, so I'm not gonna add a lot of this red pepper powder. I'm only gonna add about 1/2 cup. You can add a cup, even 1.5 cups if you really wanna go for it. And stir that in. Now I'm gonna blend the mix. One of those times I wish I had a stick blender. So put all of your rice porridge mixture in here. And now for the rest. Here I have a 1.5 by 1 inch piece of ginger. This is probably 1.5 to 2 tablespoons. I like a lot of ginger. And here I have about 8 cloves of garlic. I'm going to take them out of their skin and put them in the jar. Last step is I'm gonna add some apple. Some people skip this step. You can use Korean pear, you can use regular pear, apples. It doesn't matter. Just 1/2 of an apple, and remove the skin. And add it to your blender. So I'm gonna blend this until smooth. And here's my paste, and I'm gonna add it into my bowl. Add in your green onion and stir it up. Let this cool to about room temperature. It should take anywhere between, I'd say, 5 and 15 minutes. If you skip this step, you risk the chance of actually cooking the cabbage, and that would not be tasty at all. We've let this cool down. It's nice and easy to work with, still slightly warm, but it's not gonna burn you or cook the cabbage. Now we're gonna add in all of our carrot, any remaining green onion, and all of our chopped up radish. You're gonna wanna try this mixture and make sure that it's spicy enough for you, it has enough saltiness, that you like it. You may need more ginger or more garlic or whatever. I've already tried this and I think it is perfect. This might be the best batch I've ever made, guys. Here I have my filling mixture, and here I have the container that I'm gonna put this in. Unfortunately, I do not at current have a glass jar anymore that will fit all of my kimchi. Previously, I used to put them in glass jars, and that is what I suggest. So save like a large pickle jar, but in a pinch, a plastic container will work. Just be aware that it might stay in the container, and it might be a little hard to get the smell out. So here's our cabbage. It's been sitting for quite a while and just draining of its liquid. As you can see, they're softened up very nicely. So what we do is we put it in the mixture, and we want to spread a little bit between each layer. Okay, this might seem excessive, but trust me guys, it's worth it. You don't want this cabbage to dry out or get gross or anything. So cover the outside with a little bit more paste, like that. Carefully put it down into your container. If you get any loose pieces, just pack them on there, it's fine. Make sure you scrape out every last little bit of that filling. You don't want to pack it in super tight, and obviously this is a very large container, so it would be hard to do. But kind of compact it just a little bit. And there we go, guys. Clean up the rim so that it seals Good, and you're done. The only remaining step you have to do, which is optional, let this sit on the counter overnight, 8 to 24 hours, depending on how sour you want it. You'll notice it'll start to bubble and it'll start to smell sour, at which point you want to transfer this, date it, put it into the refrigerator, and this will stay good for a month, sometimes more, depending on how sour you want it. You can eat this immediately, of course. You could serve this right now with rice, but in a day it's better. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I did work hard on this recipe and it did take a while. If you want more recipes like this, subscribe to my channel. More will be coming soon. And make sure you check the description down below to get the link to my blog post where I have the full written tutorial as well as all the ingredients and tools required to make this recipe. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.